Hi, welcome back to the chat once again. Today is Sunday, the 18th of January. I'd like to welcome you once again to my weekly review. And I have in front of me the dollar index weekly chart, right? As you can see, we are currently in a bullish order flow on the weekly. How do I know this? We are creating bullish gaps and then also bullish we are also respecting bullish OBs, right? So we have a bullish OB that was respected the previous week, and then we created a bullish gap, right? So we are forming bullish matrices, PDRAs, and then also um, creating one, right? We also have a gap here that I think price closed above it on the weekly, yes. So actually, this is now an inversion gap, right? So price is disrespecting bearish PDRs and also respecting the bullish ones. This is an indication that price is poised to trade higher, right? This is the weekly time frame. I will now go down to the daily time frame to see. But on the weekly, where are we likely to trade to? This is our draw, first level. Let me do buy side. This is definitely a draw, and then possibly this one if there is more upside momentum, right? So these are going to, this one might probably take some time. So these are going to be my draw on liquidity going into this week, this week's trading. Let me switch, go down to the daily to see what I can find, if we can get some higher time frame key levels to frame our. All right, so this is a continuation block that was formed on Wednesday. Price respected this fair value gap here, and this is a continuation block that was formed on Wednesday. Friday, we respected that and also came to close above the inversion gap here. So, change this one to this. But the only thing that didn't happen was after we hit this block, we didn't close above, or we didn't take out the high that was my target for the previous week, if you remember. So going into this week, that is going to be my target, the first one here, the second one here. And even on the daily, we have more targets to look out for. This one here is also a very good target and a clear one. And then this one here. These are all targets that if the dollar continues higher, we are looking to target, right? This is what I'll be looking to target. Now I'll switch down H4, see what I can come up with. So now on the H4, remember this is the inversion gap from the weekly. And now on the H4, we have a gap here, right? Price came down to the daily block and then traded higher and then also formed a gap here, right? That is a double confluence. We have an H4 gap, which is also confluencing with the weekly inversion gap. This is the first point we'll be looking at. Let me change this to reduce screen. Go down to the M1, M4, no H1 to see if I can get a refined one. So I'm seeing that on the H1, we have this one here left. This is the H1 level, H1 LG. And then also we have this induced low. This is something that so on the H1, we have these two key levels to look out for, right? So what I'll be looking out for is perhaps see price come to take out the low hanging induced low into the H1, and then on the M15, if I see this one form, right, then I can perhaps look for entries around this part of the move, right? So since this is an H1 and this is an H4, sorry. All right, so since this is an H4 and H1 key level, once price gets to it and take out this induced low, I would on the 15-minute expect to see a bullish signal form, and then I'll look for entries, right, on the lower time frames, right, on a 15 minutes or perhaps on a 5 minutes. But that is only when I have a convincing run or a convincing move telling me that market is ready to head for my target. Now, not forgetting the um the weekly calendar. Let's just quickly check it. Oh, it looks like a very busy week coming ahead. From Tuesday, GBP. Wednesday, we have GBP CPI and also Trump's speech on Wednesday. Certainly something to look out for. Thursday, there's USD. And then Friday, there's GBP and the Euro USD. Euro, sorry. So it looks like a very busy very busy week on the calendar. But that should be a very good guide for us. Monday is an open day, nothing to worry about. So I would monitor to see how Monday trades, and then subsequently moving on to the rest of the days of the week. Based on what times of day we have the news, we'll see how price will react to the news releases. All right. So that's basically it for the dollar index and my expectation. I'm going to be bullish, but I will stay down until I see that the H1 or perhaps the M15 turns bullish after some liquidity rates before I look for entry. So I will switch to the higher time frame and then go down to um, this is Euro USD on the weekly. Yes, we have the same gap forming here. And then we have bearish OBs being created. This is a good sign, right? So we are definitely and basically flipping what we did on Euro USD on the dollar index. So this was created. This is an OB. We only traded to the wick and not the body, right? And then we left a bearish block. But in the case of Euro USD, we took out the low, right? And also a few ones down here. So what is possibly likely going to be my target? This low here. Perhaps that one. And if there's momentum, this low. See how that looks like on the daily. On the daily, we have a few low hanging fruits here. This will certainly be the first target to look out for because it is closer to where price is currently trading, right? So I expect price to use this as a resistance for continuation lower. Let's see what we have on the day on the H4. Once. Right. So the same way we have another H4 fair value gap that was created here. And then also we have a very bearish close below this. All right. The H1. See, we also have this low hanging fruit here, induced high. Almost the same setup as we saw on the index. So, right. So I would expect price to trade into that and then perhaps see how it goes when we see a breakdown, right? If it's happening, then you're likely to get entries here, right? It will be very worth it if we actually wait to see price trade into that and then come all the way close below it and then use that as a inversion gap to trade lower, right? That would make it a very high probability trade, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it. So what is going to happen is that every day, once price closes, I will come here. And since we now have a roadmap for the week, that is going to be what we are going to use to see if we are still on the, this is my expectation of that, 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 that. Right. So if there's going to be any trades, anything at all can happen, but it is just upon us to wait for the, it's just upon us to wait for the right time before we take a trade. We are only interested not in the noise, but in the expansion phase of the move, right? So Monday after market close, we'll be back here to look at how our levels are reacting to price, if they are being respected or disrespected, and what price is actually doing to get us informed going into the week. I'd like to say thank you for your time. If this was any helpful, make sure to click the like button and also subscribe for more. All right. Thank you.